Hi, I'm Sam here at Rick Jones Pianos with a delightful piano, and certainly a model we don't see much. This is a Schimmel, model 213, built in Germany, by then unified in 1992. I think they were unified just about then. They were in the western part of Germany. They were originally a company founded in Leipzig, but I believe before World War II, they moved over to the western part of the country, into Braunschweig, where they continue to operate to this day, Braunschweig or Brunswick in English. And they are known for making quality pianos at a surprisingly high quantity for a German piano maker. So many of them are high quality but very low production. But Schimmel was more of an exception. They were able to get pretty high mass production of their pianos while maintaining very strict quality control. And in this respect, they're often compared to Yamaha in Japan. I've sometimes heard them called the Yamaha of Germany for that reason. And well, they are likewise known for their brilliant shimmery sound. This piano has Renner hammers. Renner hammers tend to be a bit harder and tend to produce a brighter sound, not unlike Yamaha in that respect. I will say though, I am blown away by the dynamic range of this piano, and how easy it was for me to control the colors and the subtlety between soft and softer and then louder. When you play it loudly, the piano wants to go, it's like a sports car, like a German sports car. It has a big, bold sound. But when you play softly, you get a super delicate, all the notes are there, it's just super delicate, super clear sound. Again, not unlike a Yamaha, but with its own tonal identity, I would say. And well, I should mention the fact that it's a 213, that's the length of the piano in centimeters, so it's 7 feet long, about the same size as a Steinway B. And it has its own scale design according to how Schimmel thought a piano should sound. And by that I mean the shape of the rim, bridges, soundboard, the cast iron plate, and how that all determines the essential layout of the strings. You could have hard or soft hammers in the piano, but it's that scale design that determines the essential tone quality of the piano. And Schimmel favors a brighter, clearer, and more shimmery sound. And I think they're known specifically for that shimmery melody range. Really sparkles and really allows you to bring out melodies and really put them at the forefront, which this piano really helped me. It's something I normally try to do when I play piano. It's the way I learned. Always making sure the upper voice, which often carries the melody, is really at the forefront. And this piano just made it really easy for me to do that. Almost too easy at sometimes. So, and as I was saying about the scale design, different companies, different manufacturers from different countries have different ideas about how a piano should sound. And it was, and still is, very much the taste in Germany, in my opinion, to have more of a brighter, clearer sound. And I think Schimmel is one of the best known examples of that. I know they've been used by jazz pianists in the past. I thought it certainly made the Mozart piece I played, that's his Piano Sonata in A minor, the first piece I played. I thought it made that, it was very conducive for bringing out all the clarity of the notes, which is what you would want in a Mozart piece. And it showed my mistakes too easily. But then when I played the second piece, which was Cordoba by Isaac Albéniz, a Spanish romantic composer, I was blown away by just the different tone quality that the piano produced. Almost like it was a different piano, but it's all available to you in one piano, in one keyboard. It was super whisper soft and just very delicate, and very controllable. And it was quite fun to play, I'll say. And it's been a while since I've played a Schimmel grand, Schimmel piano of any sort, and I had forgotten how fun they are to play. Really very agreeable action, super smooth and responsive, and with a bold, brilliant, shimmery tone that you don't, in my opinion, find in many other pianos. The tone on this piano, it would be fair to say, is bright, and I'll accordingly rate it a 6 on the scale from 1 to 10, from mellow to bright, 5 being in the middle. Obviously, as I said, it's like a sports car. It wants to go, and it has a big, shimmery, bright sound, but the quality of the touch and the action parts, which, by the way, it's entirely a Renner action. Renner is a piano action part manufacturer based in Stuttgart, Germany, and they'll sell parts to a wide variety of customers in the trade, to different manufacturers, to rebuilding shops like us when we want to really use premium parts in like a rebuilt Steinway. They sell and make and sell really high quality piano action parts to the whole trade, and they're used by other companies such as Bosendorfer, most notably, and Steinway's Hamburg factory. Steinway in New York makes their own action parts, but they have a factory in Germany too that makes essentially the same pianos, same designs, and those German-made Steinways have Renner actions. And so if they're good enough for Steinway and Bosendorfer, that certainly gives them a good reputation, and they've earned it. I don't often get the chance, but whenever I work and regulate an action that was made by Renner, I'm just amazed at how precisely milled and how cooperative all the parts are, all the little wooden parts and the metal pins and the felts that all come together to make a grand piano action. Renner, in my opinion, is just about as good as it gets, and it's very cooperative. We, as technicians, we want action parts to be precisely made and very easy to adjust. Like if we adjust a little bit, we want the adjustment to change a little bit and the performance of the note to change a little bit. We don't want surprises. And with Renner, there are no surprises. It just cooperates exactly the way we want it to. Again, in my opinion, very much like Yamaha, although I will say Renner at their best, well, they're really good. So both Yamaha parts and Renner parts are wonderful in different pianos. Just Renner parts from Germany are really high quality. And so that's what this piano has. It has a super smooth touch as a result. And it feels fast when you need it to feel fast. And it's kind of deceptively light in that regard. But when I was playing, you can still feel the substance of each key being pressed and all the hammer raising. You can feel the substance of it when you play softly. So I'll call it a 5 on a scale from 1 to 10. Perhaps some of my colleagues might disagree with me if they were to do it as a video instead. It reminds me a lot of an early 20th century Steinway, and that what I've often said in videos that we do for those pianos when we get them in and rebuild them, is that the keys float under your fingers. This piano really reminded me a lot of that. It wasn't quite the same, but it was very similar, and I dare say even a little bit more responsive. Like the whole surface of the key, it doesn't leave the skin of your finger. That's a large part of what I mean and many other technicians and pianists mean by responsiveness, and that's actually when your finger is able to touch the key and the key keeps up with your finger. It's actually more information for an advanced pianist as they're making all these rapid movements, playing the piano piece that they're playing. That means the key is able to keep up with very rapid passages in music, like Mozart has, and it's able to reset itself to a ready position very quickly. Um, and well, it's something I often say about kawaii grain pianos, incidentally, but those are often firmer. This is not that firm. So I will call it a 5. We might call it a 4. No, yeah, we'll call it a 4 on a scale from 1 to 10. It's a little bit light, just a little bit though, and it's just depending on how you play, it can feel firmer. It's different than a lot of the other pianos that we have, and that comes down to the way Schimmel ordered their parts to be made by Renner. Renner will just take the design and make it for them, and it's very satisfying. Not like a Steinway. I will, in all honesty, tell you that if you expect a Steinway feel from a premium piano like this, you're not going to find it in this piano. Steinway, in my opinion, tends to have a firmer touch with a warmer sound. This is kind of the opposite, and it's closer again to Yamaha in its, at least the reputation Yamaha has for a brighter sound and a touch that isn't so hard. But with its own, I think, uniquely German tonal tradition, just the way the strings are designed and how that produces a very rich and colorful sound. Really, so quite a pleasure to play. I think I'll look forward to playing this piano again after the video. I didn't talk about the finish on the piano. It's satin ebony, beautiful condition. Whoever had this piano previously evidently did not use it very much. Now I also know my colleagues do a careful job re-rubbing a satin finish to make it smooth again. But also, I mean, this looks almost exactly like the pianos that we'll refinish in our shop in the back here. Steinways that we rebuild, and we do a satin finish, since that's common in American pianos. This looks just like it, and it's just in really beautiful condition. You'll be hard pressed to find any blemishes on it. I see one there that's really small. Whoever had this piano obviously took very good care of it, and that makes us more than confident putting a 10-year warranty on this piano, all parts and labor, and the 100% lifetime trade-up guarantee. We do ask that you please make sure to have it in tune at least twice a year by a professional technician, and that you keep it in an environment of moderate and stable humidity. That's crucial, especially for the wooden components of the piano, like the soundboard. And it's obviously what the previous technician and owner of this piano did. They took very good care of it, did not abuse the piano. Perhaps they played it and enjoyed it, which is what we would want you to do anyway, but maintenance is key, making sure it's in tune and that the climate, the humidity in the environment of the piano is stable. That ensures that a piano has many decades of life ahead of it. And as nicely kept up as this piano is, we would very much ask that you do the same for it. And if you do so, I think you'll be able to expect many, many years of musical enjoyment out of this. Well, I mentioned the trade-up policy. We do have a 100% lifetime trade-up on any piano that we sell. Not going to be a whole lot of pianos, in my opinion, in our inventory that you would want to trade up to after this piano. But rest assured, it applies to everything we sell, and the instrument sales price you pay for this piano or any other piano, that will be the trade-in price in the future if you want to return to us. But yeah, certainly a piano of this size and quality can very easily serve as someone's last piano, even if you're relatively young, and if you take good care of it, really high quality piano, proper maintenance, you'll get a lot of musical enjoyment for many years out of this piano, and we hope you do. So please stop by. You can try it for yourself, along with anything else in our inventory. But if you can't make it, you can always give us a phone call or send us an email if you have any questions. Thanks.